Hello everyone, my name is Jason Zandri and I wanted to take a few moments to introduce myself to you. I am currently running for the office of Town Council for this November's election as an independent candidate. After living in this town for my entire childhood and the majority of my adult life, I've decided now was the time to come forward and seek out this office. It was a very difficult decision for me to make at this juncture of my life as I have a new family. My wife and I have been married for 5 years this month, and we have a son together, Andrew, who just turned 3 in August, and a daughter, Angela, who will be turning 2 in January. That, coupled with the demands of my job as Senior Technical Account Manager for Microsoft Premier Support Services for the Northeast District, made the effort all that more challenging. Had I been afforded the best climate and timing for a run for public office, I would have preferred it to be later in my life, when my children were older and when my job was in the final years prior to when I was expecting to retire. But the Wallingford voters inspired me to act now instead of a more convenient time in my life. 7,000 registered voters came out in 2006 for the Wooding-Kaplan referendum in the pouring rain in an effort to overturn the decision cast by the Wallingford Town Council. The very same Town Council that those very voters put into office in 2005. This effort was, as many of you know, the first time that a referendum was successfully registered as valid and binding, which speaks volumes to what the state of the mind of the voters was at that time. I believe that state still exists in Wallingford today. I believe that you are all finally saying with enough voice and conviction collectively that we've had enough with the partisan politics here in town, across the state, and the country, and that we may all be ready to make the choices to move forward. Wallingford's low tax rate has often been positioned as being the envy of surrounding municipalities. But I suggest that when the full picture is reviewed, that what is being shown as face value is not necessarily a total truth. You cannot compare evenly, as an example, Durham's higher taxation of its residents without also looking at one of the main reasons for which it is higher. Their light commercial and even less dense industrial tax base is not there to cushion the town's residents of the property tax blow. You also cannot compare against towns such as Meriden with its higher taxes, as it offers many services that Wallingford does not. It's not an apples-to-apples comparison unless you can really view the cost of the taxes against all the services that are being offered to see whether or not there is a real comparison. Anything else being suggested is smoke and mirrors. If you're not paying for it in taxes, but you are paying for it out of your pocket, such as an example in Wallingford where we need to pay for our garbage collection and other municipalities do not, then it may very well be that in the end it's an equal distribution of your money or even a detriment in some situations. I believe that many residents in Wallingford are looking for more services and amenities in town. Perhaps it's garbage pickup, perhaps it's a park downtown, perhaps it's ball fields, perhaps it's something else. Some of the currently elected officials in this town are not doing this. They're not seeking out what the residents desire to have. They and their parties are dictating to you what you want, what you need, and how it's going to be done, and deciding all of that before you have any real input into it. Also, it's being done at the wrong time with an apparent lack of planning. Items such as the need for a new police station, or at a minimum, renovation of the existing one, not being planned for in the same way that an individual might make plans to purchase a new car or making repairs to an existing one, is not the best interest of the town. With the example of the car that I just gave, if you were looking to repair or replace your own motor vehicle, you would be planning for that way before the expiration of the car, not at the last minute before the car actually does expire. In that circumstance, you as an individual will be forced to buy the car at the wrong time and perhaps at a cost that's not in your best interest, or when you haven't saved up enough money and you need to finance more than you would otherwise like. The same is true for a municipality. When Meriden made the decision to tear down the hub, they knew they would not immediately know what they wanted to do there. So they budgeted and planned to turn the area into a usable space by creating a temporary park, something that everyone could have used ahead of time. We could have done the very same thing with Wooding-Kaplan all those years ago. We could have turned it into some needed parking downtown and some simple green space, and we should even consider doing that now if we know that over the next 3 years we're not going to do anything there. At a minimum, we should be cleaning that area up. The town, as its own entity, should expect to do itself at least as much as it expects her residents to do. In reality, the town should set the example by stretching and doing more. All of these things require savings and planning, applying for grants where applicable and acceptable, as some grants place too many restrictions on what can be done with said properties. Most of all, it should be occurring with input from the residents as to what they want. Do you want a park? Do you want trash pickup? Do you think we should try to go forward with a consortium of towns with respect to trash hauling, or should we try to go on our own? Should we be looking at continual repair and maintenance of our existing schools, or should we be considering to begin making plans to replace them one by one as warranted, rather than continuing to upkeep older buildings? If elected, I would want to know what your thoughts and needs are. I would offer explanations as to what my own thoughts were and why I would agree with you on your opinions, or where I might not be able to, but I would hope to offer you my explanation at least to as why I couldn't. I would hope to learn something from your own experiences in areas of expertise that I'm not proficient in, so that I might make better decisions on your behalf then and in the future from there. I don't know everything, but I learn a lot, fast, and I'll learn much, much more quickly if you give me your input and insight. I will do my best, without any restrictions of any political party ties, to fully represent each resident of Wallingford as their town councilor. As an independent who would represent the people of Wallingford and only the people, I believe that I can build bridges to other town councilors and to other elected members of our state and federal government without the regular issues of party affiliation getting in the way. This, if nothing else, has always been a major concern of mine for as long as I can remember. I have felt that the people have often been underrepresented, that for whatever reason, once that person was placed in office under the promise and assurance to be fully representative, the voters that have elected them, that it was often short-lived if it was ever born at all. I believe that for every vote there is a voice, and every voice should be heard on any matter that's important to that voice. Everyone will not always be happy with every decision elected officials make. I am not promising to make everyone happy. I am committing to every one of you that I will do my best to hear you out and understand where you're coming from, and to make sure I can take in what you're conveying and base my decisions on your needs and the needs of the town at large. I hope that if I cannot particularly support something that you're championing, that I will at least be able to understand what your reasons are and needs are, and that I'll be able to convey to you the reasons why I wouldn't be able to do that. Some decisions are necessary in the short term for a long-term benefit and are often unpopular to some or even most. But as long as the people are heard and have an opportunity to voice their concerns and at least get a better understanding of what needs to be done, then perhaps they can leave knowing a little bit better that their voices were heard. The smart representative of those people should also have learned a little bit more about their constituent that day as well. I have never run for public office before, but I'm going to do my best to earn your vote between now and election time in November. Any vote that I get will be given to me by you, the voter, in advance of ever having represented you in office. I will make sure that if I'm elected, that your vote would not be wasted, and that by the time 24 months pass and elections are upon us again for town council, that you'll be able to agree that the vote was in fact not wasted, but earned at least a couple times over. If I could have you think of just one thing as you head out to vote this November, it would be to remember Wood and Kaplan. They said it's never been done. Referendums in Wallingford have never been successful and binding. Each person that came out that rainy day added their vote to the tally. When it was all over, there were enough votes to validate the referendum results and to make them binding. Every vote was needed. Every vote counted. Everyone that came forward that day had their voice, and they had it heard. If I could have you think of just one additional thing, it would be to remember that the preamble to the Constitution starts with "we the people." Not we the government, not we the political party, but we the people. You are the most powerful force to be reckoned with in the political spectrum, whether you realize it or not. No one anywhere has anything or can hold a candle to the American voter when they set their mind to it and decide to be heard. Consider all of your choices carefully this election season and make your voices heard. Please vote. My name is Jason Zandri, and I approve this message.